it happened. And we are thankful and grateful to you. We're gonna eat tonight together and just kind of laugh and have a good time together. We have tarried in here in this room over a few things. Tonight we're gonna put those tarries aside and just have a good fellowship time and even celebrate the victories, which are every single person that is in this room. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being God all by yourself, that you don't need any of our help.
Yes, Father.
Bless us tonight as we fellowship during this holiday season. Bless our guests as they tarry over what to do now and what to do in the future. Thank you for the opportunity and bless this thing in Jesus' name.
In Jesus'
Somebody
name.
said amen.
Amen.
Say amen again.
Amen.
All right, we're just gonna file out, and we're gonna open up, and you can just open up what's there. Get yourself a plate, make yourself comfortable, and get something to eat. And then about maybe 6:15 or so, then we'll gather back. 6:20, we'll gather back in the room, and then we'll go ahead and have our little discussion. Is that all right? Well, before we do, we want somebody to introduce themselves. Go ahead, sir.
I'm sure some of these faces are familiar, man. My name's Joe Ecker.
Yeah.
It's been 13 months since Mr. Roy gave me my opportunity at life, and it's never been a better blessing than when I have it. I've never looked this good, never felt this good, and continue that with the Lord's help.
Give Joe a big hand. Normally, these guys know when guys come home, they come to group the first time, and they always have ice cream and cake. I didn't know when was coming. So next Tuesday when you come, you have the ice cream and cake. Give Joe a real big welcome. No faces, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mitch Gandolby, I'm a Hennepin County Intensive Supervised Release Parole Officer.
Yeah.
I've supervised and helped a lot of these guys transition back out in the community, and glad to be here.
Yeah, give Mitch a clap.
Well, after the Department of Corrections, I've worked with many of your faces here tonight. It's good to see. Things are good.
And so Bill kind of moved up, or in a way, he was doing over at the Lino, he was doing the life of work and gathering information and putting things together there. But now he's doing that same work, but on the outside. So let's give him some love. That's not an easy job. Politics on all sides. So we just gonna let it go at that for now. Is that all right? And we just gonna have something to eat, just be at peace, have conversations, have some love, and then we'll come back about 6:20 or something like that there, and then we'll have our little show and program. Is that all right? All right.
All right.
Come on. We're gonna start out like this is how we start our every meeting is with our act of faith. We're gonna start tonight, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna have one of our guests read. Ron, you think you?
Let me read it, Bill? And you're in trouble.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, December 11th, the sequential chain of events called Growth will bring forth the fruits of the seeds. Reverend Joe Hill. A good farmer does not worry about the weather. He plants his seeds well, takes great care to till the soil, and knows the seeds will produce. A good farmer does not plant when the winds are blowing. He waits until there is peace and calm. He then carefully digs the holes and places the seeds down with love and prayer. You are a farmer. Your thoughts are the seeds you plant. They are the cause of every condition in your life. Your success, health, wealth, and all of your relationships are the fruits of the seeds that you have planted. If you want an abundant harvest and healthy fruits, you must carefully turn the soil of your consciousness. Get rid of the weeds of doubt, fear, criticism, and judgment of yourself and others. Clear your minefield of the rocky areas. Whining, complaining, and blaming other farmers for spoiling your crop. Plant every thought with care and prayer if you want a vast harvest of healthy crops. Today I am planting a minefield of goodness.
Let's give him a big hand for that. Like he had a little practice on this stuff, huh? I tell you what, does anybody, Tom, you have a reaction? So we just have to take a few reactions to the reading today. Anybody have a reaction? Tell us what you got.
I always go inward when when I hear something and I reflect on what I have going on. So I'm glad you can.
Good.
When I think about the reading, my relationships reflect some of the things in which I have them. And right now I'm in not only my relationships, but also where I'm headed in my life. I think about some of the things in which I've been thinking about, more specifically my writing. I love to write. What I've been thinking about is which ways in which I could use my writing to bring about the changes in which I want and influence people to feel a certain way. And I allow myself to think that, okay, well, there's always tomorrow, so I kind of push it off. But more recently, as of this week and last week, I pushed myself to sit down and actually write, because I was thinking, well, if I wait till tomorrow, somebody else will have that opportunity, and I'll miss my shot. So I planted that seed of today is a really good time to do it. I'm not working. I have this time, and even when I'm working, I got 30-minute breaks. I can write something down. And that has helped me get back on that path of creating.
That's good. Give him something. Everybody say your name just before you give a reflection, so our guests know exactly who you are. Doug, what you got?
I'm Dougie Fresh, and what I see is that, or what I read is that I plant the right things and have faith that it will take.
Over your head, son. That's right.
And just to be humble enough and peace with myself.
What kind of seeds you planting with your daughter?
Love. I just saw her this weekend, and it's the biggest thing I can give my children is my time and my love. Don't matter what we do, it's just spending the time. That's what she told me. Dad, I don't care what we do, just the time. She thanked me for coming to see her, and she said the pleasure's all mine. They're proud of me for doing what I'm doing. I filter out what I know is bad, take the good, and whatever I'm looking for will come looking for me.
That's right. So, speaking of that, you got a little announcement you want to make to the group.
I was accepted to Class A truck driving school.
Yeah.
You replanted a seed with me earlier, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Thank you, sir.
And what you replanted with me was the notion of hope and people can redeem themselves. And you mentioned your sobriety, coming out of a bad addiction. And
Thank you, sir.
thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
You guys give Doug a big hand. Doug has come a long way. He's got a long way to go, but he's moving in the right direction. He's got the right attitude, and we're so grateful. Doug is also one of our staff members for our Pop Deliveries business. We have a small delivery business, and Doug is our driver and a deliverer for our Pop Delivery business, and he's doing a good job. I'm proud of you. I want you to meet Eric Washington. For those guys who don't know Eric, all the men know him, but our guests don't. Eric is one of our pop guys from Rhino way back in what year?
2009 to 11.
2009 to 11. Eric, why don't you reflect a bit on the reading and then tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, I was just looking at this and it said your thoughts are the seeds you plant. I'm really big on that because no matter what's going on in my life, I choose to have positive thoughts. So as long as I keep my thoughts positive, there's really nothing wrong. When I really look at stuff, it's really no big deal. I still try to keep positive thoughts. So things are positive, things are good. I don't have any complaints.
That's right.
And it seems like my success, health, and wealth, which I don't have a whole bunch of, but I feel like I do because I don't need anything. And all my relationships, which are good and better, are the fruits of the seeds I planted. I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm gonna continue to try to have positive relationships. I'm gonna continue to have positive thoughts. Therefore, everything's good with me. In my life right now, or you want to,
No, you go.
and then, oh, what's going on with me? Okay, let me see. Like I told you last week, I'm newly married.
Give him some love for that. That was a little bit of a shock for us, sir, so.
Yeah, you had that look on your face for a long time, so I know you were shocked. Another thing, I seen my daughter came over. I've been in the place where I live for a year this month.
Okay.
And she finally came over last week. Why? I've been just keeping it positive. I ain't been trying to sweat her or push her or nothing. And she came over finally, let me know what was going on with her. I was good with that. I was like, good, you know. So she's going back to school and she's gonna do double major and bing bam boom.
All right.
I was like, all right, I'm glad you came to see your dad. I've been thinking worried about you. I always love you, so on and so forth. So that's that relationship piece. I haven't been, you know, it's better. You know, but I never thought really bad thoughts about it. Because I think if I would have looked at it in a bad situation, I would have got bad results. So I just kind of just laid back and just said, well, you know, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Rather than spin out and go do something crazy or, you know, like thoughts have a tendency to do.
How old is she?
21 in a few days.
Smart. Smart girl.
Yeah, she's really, she's something else. So that's good. My mother's fine.
Amen.
But
So what you doing with the federal guys? I want you to give
the federal, okay, the probation department has a federal reentry program. Judge Frank and Judge Nelson.
Judge Frank is big on it.
Oh yeah, they're not playing. They got, you know, the POs and the U.S. attorneys and everything, then they got the mentors. So I'm one of their, matter of fact, I think I'm their first mentor. I do believe. And so I've been mentoring guys, you know, the high-risk offenders, these high-risk guys, and just been mentoring and just trying to, you know what I realized? I said this today in a meeting. I'm in the hope business.
That's right.
So, you just hope, you know, they get it. You know what I mean? And let them know that there's make a positive thought, take a positive action step. I say that to them all the time. You don't have to do these things.
Right.
And then I can identify with them because I've been there. So if I can do it, you can do it. You know, so, but anyway, so I've been with, you know, Judge Frank, Judge Nelson. It's really been an experience. It's fulfilling, you know, and I'm just going to continue to ride with him.
Judge Frank is a hell of a guy. Right?
He's real cool.
I don't think I know him. That's the federal. He's a federal judge.
Yeah.
Started in Virginia, Minnesota.
Wow.
He and I started pretty much together 40 years ago.
Oh, you guys have
Hey,
some real history.
30-some years in recovery.
Sure. Oh,
Don't
wow.
forget that part.
Oh, he comes right out with it.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you say hello.
I will. I will.
But what Eric has done is taken his pop training and all of the things that he got in POP. He was one of the most copious note takers that we've ever had in pop. I think he got every lesson down on the notes. And then he takes that, he's taking those lessons into the federal institution. So now what he wants to do is kind of mimic a little bit what we've done in POP here on the state side with some of the federal guys. Now, we've already had, as you guys know, some of his federal mentees here at the meeting. And so we're trying to, you know, pull that thing together somehow. What we're talking about is either certifying Eric as a pop trainer and let him go that way, or, you know, is it better for him to be, you know, to stand alone and do a whole new deal? So this is what we're talking about. And you called me on Friday, but I was already overloaded, so I just want
That's
to bring
fine,
that
I
up.
figured so.
I just want to bring that up. So we're really proud of Eric, but then also I want to go to Ananiah right here. Ananiah Israel, what you got from the reading, and tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, I've been eating lasagna for 3 days, and it's good.
Okay.
Yes, it's good. That's why I've been eating it for 3 days.
Okay.
But anyway,
I got that
I
message.
have right. You know, my son, Kevin, he has a brother, and his brother now his girlfriend is expecting a child, right? Yeah. So what's happening is that his girlfriend's side of the family has
Tell her you can't come out, Curtis.
his girlfriend's side of the family has a certain attitude, you know, when it comes to Kayvon, that's his name, and Kayvon's mom. Abby's kind of upset because she isn't included in some of the things, you know, with the baby shower and things of that nature, right? So she vented to me, and I remained quiet because I knew it wasn't my time to say what I thought would help her. Some time went by, and she actually approached me and asked me if something was wrong with me. So I knew that was my opportunity to plant the seed. And the seed that I planted was this. You have to protect yourself because you can't control what everybody else does. You can't control these people. Your son, I know you love him, but he's a man now. You have to let him go, you know? And you have to allow him to make decisions and fall and pull himself back up, you know? Because to diminish your own quality of life, being so concerned about what other people aren't doing, or are doing, or should do, is the wrong course of action.
Wow.
For the last couple of minutes, I've been in pain, watching you in pain, struggling with the idea that they're not including you in all these things. Give it some time, let it go. They'll come. They'll come.
Wow.
When that baby is here, they will come.
Wow. That's pretty deep, man.
Yeah.
Give a brother some love. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with you.
So with me, the article that is going to be, I was supposed to be taking some photographs for an article that I'm doing for NPR. NPR radio, did I say that right, NPR? They're doing a story on how individuals such as us can get out, find jobs, and get on a track one lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle, even after prison. He enjoyed some of the things that I said and decided that he wanted to do the story on it. So I was kind of looking forward to meeting him tonight so I could take those photographs, but couldn't do it tonight because we had this plan. I got a couple of emails from him just now, so I will be scheduling that.
Who you working with?
Excuse me?
Who?
Tony, but Evan is the photographer. Marty is
Warren like that. Well, I think you're in it too. But I wanted you to just talk about that and share just a little bit about your job. I mean, this is.
Oh yes, my job. I started with a temp agency, Aerotech, and a young guy. His name was Russ Trout. Young guy. It was my handler at Aerotech, and he said, "Well, I'm going to send you to this place because they're pretty, they're pretty open-minded about everything." So I went to Diamond Metal Products. And I worked with Diamond Metal Products for approximately 3 months. And the guy said to me, I want to hire you. I want to hire you on permanent because you do very, very good work. And if that's okay with you. I said, absolutely. So as of 3 weeks ago, I have been working at Diamond Metal permanent. And I have 100% 100% health care.
100%.
Yeah, because I have to explain how it's 100%, but yeah, it is. But it's 100%. I will pay nothing when it comes to health care.
That's beautiful. Ain't that worth a little down? Tell me about the house.
Yeah, they have and they also have a program for first time home buyers. So whatever money that I come up with, they'll match it. So yeah, so if let's say if I $200,000 house, they want 20% down, I come up with half, they'll match it. Yeah.
We want to meet them guys over here too.
It's a very small family-owned business, you know, but they do a lot of work with aerospace technology. Canard Aerospace, and we do a lot of products for them. We do a lot of products for the National Rifle Association. We do a lot of government business and everything. So, yeah.
And so Ananias served about 20 years?
23 years, 8 months.
So we want to make sure that y'all understand, and this is what the article is about.
Yes, sir.
Guys who have done a significant amount of time, but you know, what's the dynamic of being able to employ guys successfully? And one of the things that's happened for us here at POP is that we haven't ever gone 45 days without getting a guy employed. And it's not always that job,
right.
But it is always a job. And what part of what we've learned is that if you start inside,
That's right.
then the path is already clear here on the other side. So we have had some successes. I'm going to introduce you to a couple more real quick. Rashad, I'm going to you, and then I'm going to go to you, Dan.
Well, first I want to
Say
start.
your name, son.
My name is Kellen Shad. First, I want to start with the reading because there were a few things that jumped out to me. It says a good farmer does not plant when the winds are blowing. He waits until there's peace and calm. He then carefully digs the holes and places the seeds down with love and prayer. And basically, all this said to me was how important it is to be patient. And I know for myself, I see something. I've always just been trained to go, good, bad, ugly. I'm just ready for it, and I jump into a lot of situations with the best intentions. You know, the road to hell is paved with those, but I come up empty-handed, and I'm like, well, what happened? You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's just not your time to go. So you got to sit back, understand what you're getting into, and then take advantage of the patience that you've displayed. So that really, and I know a lot of guys, especially when they get out of prison, they're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna get that, and they get overwhelmed with stuff, and one way or another they end up falling sometimes back into the penitentiary. So patience, I think, is virtuous for one, and that really stood out to me because I'm like, yo, there's a lot of people who need to read that, whether they've been involved with the DOC or not. The second is your success, health, wealth, and all the relationships are fruits of the seeds that you planted. And I know that whether you're successful or not, whether you have healthy relationships or not, or if you don't, people are often looking for someone to point the blame at, rather than looking inward. Like, okay, well, all of this stuff happened to me for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Why did this happen to me? And just how important it is to put blame in its proper context if you're going to elevate and mature to the next level. And there was something else.
Just in the interest of time, I want you to talk a little bit about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, sure. No, that's fine.
Take it, you have some.
First and foremost, so I've been working for St. Paul Public Schools now for about,
Pull some in.
shoot, it'll be a year. And next month it'll
Give
be.
me a hand for that.
Actually,
How long was you up there in Rush City?
40 months. 40 months and 10 days. And it's no secret to the people I work with. That's one of the reasons they actually hired me, was because the school to prison pipeline is like there's kids in middle school with probation officers, and even they have a program called ECC that comes and gets kids, and they put them in the back of a squad car. Like it's got the glass and everything, the entire, and I sometimes I'll get back there with them, and be like, okay, now if you're already doing this at this age, what do you think the future holds for you? Like you got to make a. I mean, I'm speaking from experience here. You know, I had a PO when I was in middle school, so. Yeah, so I'm just in a very good position. I started teaching my class a week ago in there called Finding Your Purpose, just really helping kids think about why they were born in the first place. Like, you know, okay, we understand the circumstances you were born into, but just how blessed you are just to have made it through, you know, the just to be born. Just, you know, you were 1 in a million being born, 1 in millions being born. There's one sperm that made it to 1 egg that was you. There was millions of other potential people who died, and you made it. Why did that happen? So just get them thinking about, okay, it happened for a reason. What is the reason? Is it to do what you're doing now? Is it to be the person who you think you are now, some rapper or whatever it is that you admire so much? And once I get them like, if you on to something, then we got them, you know, and we can kind of dive into, all right, now, what are you going to do with the fact that you've discovered this purpose today? You know what I'm saying? And then we can, so it's really been successful. I was a little worried because I was in high school last year. I was at Journeys last year, and I was a little worried about how that would work out moving to an elementary middle school, but I've been able to kind of mold it, and I don't do it like staring at a chalkboard and I'm writing stuff. It's a group setting, you know, it's a circle. We go around and check in what I learned from group here. One school? And one school, yeah, I'm at one school now. I was at a different school last year, they moved me. And it's been really successful, and it's really weird getting called Mr. Nins, too. I have to say that.
Well, we're going to hold you up right there. Give Mr. Nins a hand, though. I want y'all to, what's good, what's powerful about Rashad and what he's doing and what he's been able to accomplish is because in spite of his felony conviction, he has been accepted into the St. Paul Public School system. He is a part of their team and a valued member. And their understanding of disrupting the pipeline is important, and that understanding has helped to bring you forward, and then here you are prepared to step into that role. That's real good. And we've been waiting around for Isaac to get here, and he done finally made it. Give Isaac Brown a little hand out here. Some water, some water. Thank you. Marvin, would you step on in? Hey, James, come on in. While we got all the fellas here now, you know, we just kind of going to divert for a second because we have been thinking about something. Would you please put that away? We have been thinking a lot about what we have to be thankful for. My wife and I have been at this now for 15 years. December was the start of our 15th year. And, you know, I was saying to my wife, under, you know, Miss Fabian, she was nice and she treated us nice. But we didn't get any lifer guys out, period, during that time for us. We didn't, any pop trainees. But under this administration, Tom Roy's administration, Ron Soldheim, under this administration, we got a lot of our sons. James, come on in, please. We got a lot of our sons out.
A damn room full.
And you know, and what we wanted to do, because I mean, all things being what they are, these guys for us in this room have done a good job. And so we wanted the lifer men, especially, who have something to say to this team here for giving them a second chance on freedom. I'm going to start with Isaac because we've been waiting the whole meeting for you, Dr. Brown. And I want you to slide over here to where I'm at. Look right over here at these gentlemen. And by the way, let me just tell you ahead of time, when LeBron comes back to play the Timberwolves in June, I'm taking Isaac with me. I think it's June 11th.
Here we go.
I told him I had a ticket. I'm getting the bid in already. So go ahead, son.
First of all, I want to give honor to God. Thank Him for me being here alive and well.
Let's give him some love.
Second of all, Tom, the first time we met, you know, we had a mutual friend in common. That was just a girly boy here. kind of took off from there, you know. I think God put a lot of people in my life, my journey, and if everybody in this room is untied with me, you know, I'm a piece of work, you know, and, that's just me, you know. When I get it, but I'm not gonna try to act like I got it in front. And, no, I'm just not there yet. I'm still working on it, you know, and that's how I've done my whole entire time, is that I just stayed true to myself and kept it real with myself. I didn't lie to myself. But I would always, when I'd fall down, I'd always get back up and I'd go to school or try another class and try to better myself. I started getting rid of my mistrust issues, and I started letting people come into my life and start helping me because I couldn't do it by myself. And that was the biggest struggle in my whole journey, was allowing myself to trust people again, because we know in the life it's a dog-eat-dog world. So with that type of mentality, you struggle with letting people that have integrity, that's honest and doing the right thing. It's hard for you to let them in, you know. So I struggled with that for a long time. But it was Howard McClish. So me, that's been down a long time. You know what I'm talking about. It was Howard McClish, Howard McClish and Rec, that really started the ball rolling with me. I started figuring things out. And he passed on. He was on a seizure, diabetic.
Was he still one?
Yeah. And he used to go to bat for us for everything. And I mean, he'd go out of his way to do things for us, to make sure we had something to do for those of us that had a long time. Make sure that we had something to do, try to keep us some kind of balance in our life. And so that really helped me a lot. Sports really did, because with sports, if you really want to win, there's certain things you can't do or you'll mess it up for your team, you know. And I'm big on winning, everybody know that. So, you know, I'm still cheat. I'm still but I'm gonna play within the rules. You know. But anyway, you guys, you don't know, man. Since the 15th of November, when I had my prostate surgery by Dr. Sershaw. He's like the #1 surgeon in the state of Minnesota for prostate cancer. And I met him through a mutual friend of mine, a childhood friend. She's a surgeon also. And she came into my life like 5 or 6 years ago. But it's amazing how God was always working with me, putting people in my life for in the future, for things to happen that he knew that was going to go down. And when I found out, first thing I always said is, if I ever get blessed to get out, I'm going to go to a real hospital, get me a real physical and see what's really going on with me. And I did that, and I was adamant about it. And as soon as I got out, that's the first thing I did. And the doctor, he told me, he said, you know, your PSA scores is kind of high. I thought he was talking about my kidney or something. I didn't know what PSA meant or anything like that. So everything that I learned, you know, was all new, all overwhelming. You know, cried like a baby when I found out that I had cancer, because I'm like, oh, it runs in my family. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to live and all this, you know. So I just leaned on God, because that's all I had. That's all that I needed. That's what got me where I'm at. That's who looked over me the whole duration. And so anyway, I said, well, I'm going to deal with this. And God's with me. And I can put more on me than I can bear. And I just started leaning on scripture that I know since child, but it has more meaning to it now, because it's serving its purpose at the time. And I was scared to death of surgery, I'm telling you, man. I hate hospital, I hate needles. I got all these needles and IVs going in me. And I wake up from my surgery, you know, from movies, I see the recovery room. I'm like, I know where I'm at. As soon as I open my eyes, I know where I'm at. So first thing I do, I can't speak, because my motor skills ain't there. But in my mind, I'm thanking God that I woke up. because I had a niece, she died on the operating table. And I've had other friends that have died on operating table. I know a lot of people died on the operating table. They're not here today to talk about anything. But I remember that vividly. That was my biggest fear. More than the cancer, my biggest fear was going into surgery and not waking up. And I woke up, I was so happy. And first thing I did was thank God. And then I thank you, Tom Roy, because, you know, like, in the last 6 years, I went through a lot of stuff. And I struggled. And I had a lot of flashbacks because I watched 3 of my friends get killed in prison. And I could have intervened, but I wouldn't be here today because I'd had more time. So it was the Holy Spirit that just held me down and just let me be still and not get involved. So, you know, that was hard for me to deal with. And then being stabbed in my jaw from behind with some scissors and the scissors going in and out my mouth, you know. When somebody threatens me, I take that very serious, you know. And that's why I acted out. When I acted out, because I was right there close to the door, and I know that I would have been released earlier if I wouldn't have had done that. But that was where I was at. That was a hurdle that I needed to deal with. And I'm glad that I dealt with it in prison, because if I wouldn't have dealt with it in prison and the same thing would happen out here in the community, it could have been ugly for me or the other person. So I thank God that, because I asked him, I said, Lord, help me go through everything that I need to go through. So when I walk out these doors, I've been done dealt with, or I have a good idea of how to deal with that situation, so I'll never come back to prison. Because I don't ever want to see the inside of a prison again, you know. Because that I know what I've seen, I know what I've lived, I know what I've been through. And back when I was doing time, like Amos, he know how it was, because it was back in the day. So,
son, I'm gonna have to get some other people in too. So just try to.
Yeah, you know me, I love it. I'll go. But no, I want you to know that I really appreciate you giving all of us in here a second chance. You seen something in us, and you believed in us. You know, you helped save my life, because if I wouldn't have got out at the time that I got out to get the help that I needed,
my Lord,
right there at the time, the cancer would have spread. There's no doubt in my mind. It would have spread it. It didn't spread. It was contained in that one area, so they got it all. And I had the best to get it all, you know, with God guiding his hands for him to get it all. So I just want you to know, man, you mean everything to me.
Yeah, man. Shake his hand.
I know what I'm doing.
Donald, you go next.
Thank you. I'm Donald Amos.
Hey, Donald. You do it.
My struggle has been a journey up and down.
Excuse me. Everybody gonna be a little bit shorter than Isaac was.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah, I know most people in the room. Most people know me, the commissioner. You know, I know everybody knows me. Anyway, my journey's been up and down. A lot of my journey and a lot of my problems happened because of my own actions, not taking accountability for it. He not only gave me 2 chances, he gave me a 3rd chance. So for that, I didn't always agree with your decisions, Tom Roy, but what I did like, you did believe in me, like Isaac said, give me a 3rd chance, and I'm ready.
That's right.
And I appreciate that.
Give him a hand.
Yes.
You know, Donald and I, we have never not known each other. And so I'm grateful to have you sitting right where you're sitting, talking like you're talking, and for this thing to move on the way it is. I'm grateful, Isaac, that I get a chance, my wife and I, to sit here with you, side by side, after all of this. And you be able to look Tom and Ron in the eye and tell them thank you.
Yeah,
it's
thank
meaningful to me because it makes all what we was trying to do worth the fight. So thank you all. Next is Anthony. You want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real short. I'll go back to when I seen you earlier tonight, and I simply said that my gratitude is gonna be reflective through my actions. You know, I'm not gonna be verbose. I just want to say thank you.
Wow.
Because just one thing, turning over the state of unconsciousness, it occurred after about 22 years of being in warehouse. When I got to Lino, the lifer groups, being introduced to YouTube, the concepts. Not only did it sound good, but I started practicing that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Then that hope came alive when I seen some of my comrades getting out. And hey, I'm grateful. I appreciate you. And whatever you do, may the infinite spirit be with you.
Appreciate that.
Come on. Baba got something to say.
My name is Anthony Fletcher. It's been a long journey for me, since I was a juvenile. So, it's been, long time. I'm definitely grateful. I got two chances, actually, I was violated and sent back in for 18 months, and that had me shut down. I didn't talk for about 8 months, because it was so shocking to me, Sometimes I think about it today, I was a month away from being home and I'm coming back. I just couldn't believe it, right? It was like I had committed a crime. I had just got arrested, and I was like, man, but that gave me another chance, another time to reflect on some other things, and I was like, okay, even the challenges that I had, even a lot of stuff that happened to me while I was in the halfway house that a lot of people didn't know about, how I was harassed and a lot of other different things that was going on with me that wasn't looked at. But overall, I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. I changed my life.
Yes, sir.
So I'll never be the same. And I'm grateful for, first of all, I'm grateful to my mother. She was the one that pulled it through, but then I'm grateful to these two people.
My Lord.
And I'm grateful for you, especially my Bill half.
Oh, good. Give him some love.
He seen me when I came into prison, I did. He followed me all the way through.
Wow.
And I always enjoyed having conversations with you. It was pleasant and man, and I understand the perspective of the community part. You had to protect your community, So and at the same time, I showed what I was about as far as removed from the lifestyle. I'm an ex-gang member. I'm an ex-bunch of things.
Yes.
So nobody can associate me with anything but me. I'm Anthony Fletcher, and I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
So I've been out almost 4 years.
Yeah.
So,
Come on.
and that's what I expected to do from the beginning. So some things tripped me up in there, and I slipped it a little bit, and I got set back straight. So without that, I don't even look back. I ain't slipping, falling. I got people next to me, and all that. So I'm just grateful, and especially when you came and talked to me. You came and talked to me at one-on-one. He's like, look here,
Straighten up.
straighten up.
Proud of you.
Yeah. So it's been a pleasure. I mean, seeing a lot of different things, you know, and experiencing a lot of different things. And I expected that. I was like, man, this is what life is. This is what the good life is. So I've been enjoying it all. So the ups, downs, and everything else. I'm glad to see everybody. Love everybody.
Amen. And look, you know, y'all know Bible work about 3 or 4 jobs.
Yeah, I got that 18 out there.
You got that 2018 out there, you know, with the push button start on it.
Hey, man.
Is that the MKZ?
I want to get Dr. Curtis Harris in. Give Bob another hand. Dr. Harris, it's on you, sir.
Okay. I'd like to thank God for our meeting here, and definitely thank God for our guests. When I first met Tom Roy, I was a bit nervous until I heard someone else say, well, he's all right, man. I think you can talk to him, you know. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know when it's over, you know. But it gave me some hope when I found out he paroled Tim Ely. Now, the previous commissioner, she scared the bejesus out of most of us when she got on TV and said, I'm never gonna let a lifer out. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Who did something to this lady? You know, and the Supreme Court had to jump down on her and tell her, look, hey, you know, what do you mean? You know, we told her they had an expectancy if they did the right things, you know. So she cleaned that up, and I think she let one lady out. But when we heard that Tom Roy had paroled Tim Ely, you don't know it, Tom, but we had a party that night. Boy, we was drinking the hooch and everything.
I would.
Say, we got angel came. Big buzz, right? Now we wanted to meet this Superman, right? Who is this masked man? Because no one showed that much courage. Say, somebody stand up for us. To stand up for, you know, at least, you know, I mean, everybody did what they wanted to do, you know. We went through all the programs, we got all the degrees, you know. I mean, what was enough, you know? And, you know, we didn't get any reward for it, you know, from the previous commissioners. So that piece of news there, Tom, it started a fire there, and everybody found a reason to get the GED and a reason, you know what I'm saying, to stay out of hole. Or they say, look, if you ain't got no disciplinary, you know, and Tim went to the hole, you know, previously, you know. Say, this man is going to be this understanding. Now, what let me know, you know what I'm saying, and excuse my phrase, but I mean it, that you was an angel. When James Wolford came up to you for a hearing, and we was in Lino, and they called him a contraband, and he came up to you about 3 or 4 weeks before the hearing, and me and Wilford came in together. I was like, Wilford, come on, man. Said, man, they gonna set you back at least 3 or 4 years. He said, I know, man, I was like, oh, man, and we was trembling for him, you know, because Wilford's a good guy. He's a man's man, right, you know. And then after he had this meeting with you, I said, well, what happened, Wilford, you know? He gave me the paper. When I seen it says, it mentioned nothing about his seg time, you know, and you gave this man, you took a half a foot and extended it like 10 miles wide, like, oh my God. It said, and just told him, just find a job. You got 6 months to find a job. If you don't find a job, you know, in other words, you can leave in 6 months if you find you a job and some housing. I'm like, this is it? You know, I'm like, man, let me hurry up and get to this guy here. please don't leave office until you see me, you know? I had hope,
I was still, Curtis, I was still learning back then.
You learned well. You learned well, man. Listen, I said, okay, and man, I'm telling you, you inspired a lot of guys, man, to push forward, because a lot of them, that light went out of their eyes, man, and it's like, you know, I ain't never leaving. I got to make the bag move here. But you took that away, man. And when you took that away, it was saying a whole new life had began. And I know for me, at least, I said, man, I got a shot here, man.
Sure.
You know, and when you told me to do that year, keep my nose clean, do that year, and I'll be paroled after that, you know. Oh, man, there wasn't a medication in there, boy, that could compete with that, you know. I mean, that's all I needed. And I'm just telling you, man, thank you, because I wouldn't have made it otherwise, you know. The previous commissioner swore that she'd never let a lifer out, you know. And I had a rough beginning in that place. I beat up a couple of your staff in there, you know. So they ain't like me, you know. They ain't like Don Lamus either, you know. You know, we had some rough starts in there, you know. It took about 20-some years to work that out. Right.
Well, give Curtis a hand. He done worked it out. Curtis, how long have you been home now?
I've been home this month. This will be 5 years and 2 months.
Give him another hand for that. So just some of our younger men, I just want you to see, though, you know, just as these guys are sharing, but also get your learning from that. Absolutely. Right? So you don't miss your shot. You get it? My wife's never had anything to do with correction, no nothing. One day we were in class, my wife is teaching, out of nowhere, right? She says, you know, it only takes 30 seconds to get 30 years. And I'm looking at her because I know she has, I mean, this is not her. She don't have no information on this, right? So I know she's hearing something else. And she put that word out there, and we have utilized that comment from that point on. All the men here are indoctrinated to it, and all the men that we are going to see in the future are going to be indoctrinated to it. It only takes 30 seconds to get 30 years. So for the young guys who are here right now, you're listening to some of the older guys, make sure you're paying close attention to what they have to say. James, it's your turn.
Hey, James, I'm gonna say something first. Everybody's been really kind to me right now, and I know that you kind of set this up like this, but it would be really meaningful for me, now that I'm feeling really good here, that I'm okay with what I've done. For the guys that are going to say something more, tell me about you. Yeah. I want to hear your success. I know I'm good. Yes. So give me 2 minutes of success.
Okay. My name's James. I've been out for like almost 4 years. March will be 4 years for me. But since I've been out, I've been going back into prison, speaking to other lifers and since I've been out, I got a job making $16 an hour. I got a 2017 Sonata. What? Yeah. And I got an apartment over there, and I got a good lady, you know, that she loved me and I love her.
That's right.
And I just be out here trying to go through the community. Like some of the young guys that I see, you know, like when I first met you, you like, don't speak. Just go out there and let them see your action. Don't say nothing to nobody, don't talk to nobody, don't mention nothing. Because I kept on telling you that I want to speak to kids. You like, don't do that, just sit back. So I said it, so when I got out, I said it back. I went through the halfway house. I had a fall in the halfway house, but I cleaned up that, you know, I sit up there. But that helped me because when I made that fall, it helped me get my license. I said back, okay, I'm in here. I might as well do some construction. So I started reading the permit and all that when I got my license and stuff. But I think that, another thing, I'm a man of God. I went to church. I go to church Sunday, go to Bible study Monday and Wednesday. Give them some love. I try to spread the word of God to lots of people, you know. And I'm like Anthony said, I'm not that man I used to be. When I first went into prison, I was a gang member. Then I became a gang leader. Then I became a person that didn't want to listen to nobody. And like Curtis was saying, when we go in front of the commissioner, I was doing it for the commission them. I wasn't doing it for myself. I say if I go up here, I get this GED, I get this, they gonna let me go. And every time I go back, well, you got 5 years. Why is that? Like in 87, you did this, did that. So I said, okay. But then when you came, you gave me life. You know, when I say, you gave me life because I say, okay, I'm finna do it for myself. You told me to do it for yourself. Don't do nothing for nobody else. And that's what I thought doing for myself. And another thing, when I went down Line Lady, Bill helped me out a lot. That's a good man, man. That's a good man right there. He's a real good man, and he in a good spot. And you know, all the life would be scared because you leaving, but I tell them over the phone, when I talk to them over the phone, I say, they got a good man up there now, Bill. I say, he gonna fight for the life, because he fought for the life. But me, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And this life out here, man, this life out here, love me.
Sir, we didn't have you on the schedule, but we're gonna put you in.
That's right. That's right.
My name's Joe. Served 30 form. Knucklehead. Just reading the readings. It's become a life of many blessings for me. I stepped out of the bridge into a full-time fabrication shop. No wait, 15 an hour. Got my raise. In the process, I'm on ISR right now. My bracelet was removed early.
Give him a hand for that.
As James said, I would give this up for nothing. I've never felt this good in my entire life. I continue with the seeds I sow each day are my morning meditation when I wake up and I step out. I picked up a nasty vice. I don't smoke in the house, but I get with the Lord and I feel a lot of things you used to say were so real, and I just didn't apply them.
That's correct. You did not at that time, but you're doing it now.
Understanding. So, where it says the blame, I used to blame everybody being angry. And a lot of you guys know. Right. Take responsibility, and I look for, even when the things are going sour, what is he trying to teach me in this lesson today that I need to figure out without making somebody else's life difficult while I'm learning something. So it's at 53 to learn pretty much common sense as you should know at 16. It just took me a lot longer, a lot of bumps, but there's that.
That means your time is almost up. But you might want to say thank you.
Very deeply and to the team of all three of you, I mean Bill, you supported me when I was completely lost. And I sit and think sometimes about our first conversation when all rough and
I didn't like this guy very much. First contact was nasty.
like 40 minutes of just
It's hard to like.
So it was
more.
And I found a relationship with you, started growing up and maturing and
got it.
Yeah, it's
Prove me right.
There you go.
And that's the one thing I make sure of, is that under no circumstances will any of you answer for anything of my actions.
We're going to stop it right there. Give us some love. It's good to see you. It's good to have you. We spent time together in Rest City. Right. he's quoting the silent cry, you know, and who you need in your small small circle, and that's good. He said you got 5 proven men in there. That's good. Did I get all my lifer sons and everybody? No.
Right here.
I wanted
Go ahead, son.
my name is Malin. I got out October 27, 2015. One of the main things to me was, Curtis said a lot of stuff, that I felt like no hope at all. There was no light and everything. And first time I seen you, I got 3 more years, and I knew I wasn't ready, and you knew that from seeing such a vast amount of people. And but when I went there that time, I lost my mom and everything, and I didn't even mention that in there, in the letters or anything. I just left it, But when you told me I was going to minimum, man, I lost it, man. I don't know if you guys remember that, man, but I cried so hard, man. And I couldn't stop, And then I think one of you guys even said, "God, we're not used to this kind of, emotion, And it, but it was like, it freed up a whole bunch of stuff that was always there, and and I got out here, and and God, I have not used. I don't think about it. I don't drink. I go to church. I do all this stuff. I don't smoke cigarettes. Ron, Tom, wish I could shake your hands now.
Yeah, and you're gonna get a chance. I think we took him to his first basketball game, didn't we?
Yes, you did. First basketball game with Timberwolves. No, not Timberwolves.
I got my
Lynx.
lifer hug from that one too.
Is that right? Giving out them hugs.
Well, he made me laugh too. I was playing drums in IFI, and come walking down. He said, "Man, you play the Skins?" So I was like, "Wow, cool."
Well, we got one more, and and that's Will. And so Will, most of y'all know this, but Will and I, we walked the line together. Where I was his representative in his lifer hearing, and I always thought to myself when Will first asked me. Because of the student that he had become in POP, my first answer was yes. But as I thought about what my yes really meant, you remember, I really labored over that because I had to ask myself, what separates me from a relationship from Will's victim? Wouldn't I have been like I am with him? And that was working at me, and I thought, wow, this yes that I gave instantly, it got bigger and bigger as the time got closer. But then just before his hearing, I got some peace. And the peace was that, and this is just how I get communication, it said, I didn't send you here to worry about bringing anybody back, but I sent you here to figure out how to help nobody else go.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave me a peace when I went in with Will, which was Tom's first hearing. And and it put pressure. I refused to do it anymore after that. It was not an easy thing. And I knew everybody wanted me to go, but I just had to stop that. But I realized that I better stay in this other lane, so to speak. But this is that one experience that I had down the line. And having said that, Will, I want you to kind of close it up in your own way.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I was a rookie.
Right. And I was a veteran at that time. I didn't know. I remember when you were called to task. When I think it was when Illing, when he was on release of parole, and you were under the gun, so to speak.
So to speak.
And I think a question was put to you. Is there any offender that would be, whose crime is so bad that you would not grant him parole or her? And I think you replied that you didn't have the authority to impose a more severe penalty than the judge who sentenced. You held to your convictions. And I really appreciate that, because it was those same convictions that allowed you to let me out, and Isaac out, and Donald out, and Baba out. So, I mean, you know, I'm grateful for all of that. But I think that what I'm most grateful about is the example that you have set for your peers and those who to follow.
Wow.
Because, you know, now, and hopefully for now on, it would be in the truest sense of the word, Department of Corrections.
So I'm gonna say something at this point, because you guys have just been unusually kind. You know I believe in hope, you know I believe in redemption, and believe in you. But here's the cold part of this. It's the law. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. The law says I have to grant parole for those that deserve it.
That's right.
And I'm a lawman.
That's right.
And I believe in the law. And some of you guys that I brought back, the law prevailed, because that's what I was charged to do. And to not observe the law would dismiss my decades of work. And what we have is a problem in this country right now, and in our justice system, where people believe the law is adjustable for certain people.
Absolutely.
And whether it's race, gender, whatever, the law is not adjustable.
That's right.
It's got, if we lose this rule of law, we're in trouble.
Ooh, brother. Come on, come on.
That means fair hearings. It means fair supervision. It means that probable cause needs to exist, and we got to observe the law. And that is really, really, really important. And when I look in the mirror after the Ealing hearing, man, it was rugged. But I looked in the mirror and said, I'm following the law. And I told the committee that, I don't know if you remember that this is, you remembered, right?
I remember this.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember you telling them, if you didn't want him to have parole, you should have gave him life without parole. I'm following what's written.
Well, that's good.
It's the deal that the state of Minnesota made.
Well, let me, we could go on about this all night, but let me just say this, that we have decided amongst ourselves that this whole notion of utilizing the law to equally and righteously dispense a second chance deserves some recognition. And so, first of all, we want to recognize Ron Soldheit over here for his work in trying to balance been as Tom's right-hand man, trying to balance the scale between system, between community, and what's going on. Bruce has been handling lately what's going on inside corrections. Present that, honey. I'm gonna let you do it. stand up if you don't mind. We want to present to Ron Solheim the Second Chance on Freedom Award, given to us by POP. We can have it.
And I gotta say, this is a team event here. I don't do this.
What happened to your cameraman?
Give him a hand, give him a hand, get that. And while we're standing, we want to present Tom Roy with our gratitude and thanks for establishing the Second Chance on Freedom Award for the men who are in this room right now. Go ahead, Isaac, you present.
This and remember us, and we'll never thank you for giving us a second chance. That's right. Yeah. You do it. Look at that. Is that beautiful, y'all? Top down 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's good. All right, y'all, we're almost done. My wife is gonna force us to do some photos. But we can do that when we get done. We just got a couple more things, and we're gonna let you all have something else to eat and get on out of here. But I just want to say,
usually the award winner gets to say a word.
We're gonna give it to you, Anthony. Hold on one second, Anthony. I want you to be in here when they talk. Let's give Tom and Riley an opportunity to say something. Go ahead.
I've said it all, but this is really meaningful, and I was packing up my office today, actually.
What?
And I was thinking, what am I going to take from the office, and what's going to continue in my life, and that will be something that I'll look at every day.
Wow.
I'm going to look at some of you, not on the front page, hopefully.
That's right. That's right. No. Ron, you got something?
Just real quick, I know it's not always been easy for you. It's not always been easy sometimes when we've had things that we've had to deal with in the community, but fact is you're doing well, and that is what it's all about. That's what we're in this business for. I know a lot of you don't know that Curtis and I started at the same time at Hennepin County Adult Detention Center.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and I was a new deputy there. And we've been riding this career together 34 years now. So, I'm just happy to see that we're both doing well. So that's right.
Give him a hand. To take back an award, this was for Bruce Reiser, and I'm gonna just say a word to, since Bruce is not here. This guy knew how to make the prison run smooth. He just had those skills. He's lighthearted about things, and he could hear bad news but put a lightweight spin on it. And one day, there was a guy, whoever that is, asked him, please tone it down. He said, a guy came into our class as a visitor. He was a staff member there at Rush City. I don't know who he was. And he said, man, this is a cult. This is a cult. He said, this is a cult. He went back and told Bruce, right? And so Bruce and I had been together at Furboat before this, so we already knew each other and this and that. But he had to respond. He came down to the meeting, and so we were doing that day, the 8 Steps to the Good Life. And Bruce, we had Bruce in as words. You know what I mean? And so he got in at the steps and started having fun with the guys and playing and having a good time. And he went back and said something. I don't know what he went back and said, but we're still at Rush City. We're gonna be there tomorrow night. You know what I mean? Right. But he also took the challenge to step up to play the role of a commissioner, and I think that was a good move for him. He has that disposition. Under Bruce, we were able to. My wife and I were able to work with you all at Furboat, work with you all at Rush City, and he facilitated that process and make it easier for us to have access. And so I would like for you guys to give Bruce Reiser a big hand. He's not here, but
but Bruce is a short timer too.
yep. And, you know, we've talked, and if you guys don't mind taking that back, I think he's talking about going south or something like this here. But there's a box to this, and we just wanted, let's give these guys a copy. So mention to your colleagues, you know, that, you know, we're out here. We need the, you know, the transition person and all of those people to kind of know what we're doing and know who we are so that we can continue to press in. We got a few more years in our, you know, in our tank, and we want to make sure that we get done as much as we can get done during that period of time. And so we're gonna close out with our pledge. But then, you know, you can mingle around if you want to, and my wife wants us to get a picture, and we'll do that, of course. But we're going to close out, if you don't mind standing up. We just embrace everybody who's in the room, please.